Hello there folks, my name is Spoonks and welcome back to an episode of Box Office Chat. This is the show where I break down the top 5 domestic box office results, see where each movie landed, and see how well each movie did. So let's get started. Number 5 was The Amazing Digital Circus, The Last Act, opening with $12 million this weekend, and since it opened on Thursday, it adds to a domestic total of $20 million and a worldwide total of $35 million. I didn't discuss this last week because I knew it was going to shake up the top 5, but I wasn't sure how big it was going to be. Yes, I know the show's really popular, but was this going to play an anime film, or was this going to really blow up in a way no one saw it coming? And to an extent, it did. It did crack the top 5 and blew past some box office expectations. It even knocked Mando and Grogu out of the top 5, which is absolutely exceptional. Just like Obsession did, I think this movie also deserves a trophy for that. But yeah, this is truly something special. The fans really did want to go and check this out, which is just incredible to see. The fact that they went to go pay theater prices to watch the final episode on the big screen, even though it's going to be for free on YouTube just a couple weeks from now, is really fascinating to see. Again, I think this really does show that this is more than just some popular online thing. This is a phenomenon, and it wasn't just domestically. Internationally, this also pulled in some very strong numbers, certainly bigger than I think many people were expecting. Yeah, it's going to be front loaded. Yeah, it's going to be out of theaters by the time the episode releases on YouTube. But again, the fact that this episode pretty much did these types of numbers in theaters is again really respectable, really admirable. It shows again how popular the franchise is, how popular this series is, and how excited people were to check out the series finale, whether they wanted to see it on the big screen or they just really wanted to avoid spoilers. But yeah, it's still a really strong debut for The Amazing Digital Circus. Big win for the indie scene, a big win for the animation space. Just job well done to all involved. Number 4 was Obsession, making $25 million this weekend. Its domestic total is now at $151 million, and its worldwide total is now at $224 million. So, unfortunately, its increased streak has come to an end. I know it's heartbreaking, such a loss for the movie. It didn't increase for the 3rd week in a row. But the movie is still doing very well. It only dipped 7%. Keep in mind, it had to compete with 3 new movies in theaters. And again, it only fell 7%. That is incredible to see. Right now, it has the biggest 4th week for any horror movie, beating the 4th week of Sinners and Blair Witch Project. I know that was technically its 2nd wide release, but that's what other people have said. And yeah, again, this movie is just taking off. It has surpassed $150 million domestically. It's about to surpass Mandalorian and Grogu's entire domestic run. Absolutely insane. And it has surpassed the $200 million milestone worldwide. It's really growing internationally. Apparently, it's doing very, very well in India, as well as it now being Focus Features' biggest film worldwide now. It broke the record domestically last week, and now it has also done the same worldwide. Again, this is the movie of the moment right now, where a lot of movies seem to be falling off or fading fast. This is the one that's just been maintaining its core audience. I still see people talking about this, hyping it up, going to see it on repeat watches or seeing it for the first time just to see what the hullabaloo is about. This thing is really taking off. It's definitely cracking 200 million domestically, maybe even 250. It's definitely gonna be one of the top 10 biggest movies of the summer. And again, the road is looking pretty great for this movie right now. Again, it's pretty much the big horror movie to see right now. Nothing else like it until early July, and the word of mouth again is just crushing it. I still see people talking about this, hyping this up. Again, just the movie of the summer right now, and it's not going to stop anytime soon. Number 3 was Backrooms, making $26 million this weekend. Domestically, it's now at $135 million. Worldwide, it is at $212 million. So, as expected with last week, it fell pretty steep. It had a 68% drop off this weekend. A lot of the fan rush, and it was pretty front loaded on that first weekend. And again, the word of mouth wasn't too great, really mixed response from audiences, though I did get a bit more optimistic with the daily numbers. It was actually doing pretty well right before the weekend, but I just seemed to collapse once the weekend really got in. The fact that it was almost beat out by Obsession this weekend, I think definitely shows which horror movie is going to get the lead further down the road this summer for sure. So I think this is going to lose that edge it had over Obsession as the weeks go on, but this is still largely a huge success altogether. Again, it's still A24's biggest movie domestically, and now worldwide it has surpassed the $200 million milestone worldwide, a first for the studio. Now they're playing with the big boys. They've proven that they can make some really strong, successful blockbusters. This is no different, and again, budget was only $10 million, so it's already made more than enough than it already needed to. And I think after this weekend, it's probably gonna be able to stabilize, because again, not much horror out there. So while Obsession continues to crush it, this might be a second choice option for horror fans or some people looking to see something a bit more different. So while yes, this weekend definitely not the best performance for this movie, I'm sure there were some slight disappointments for some people. The movie's still a huge success altogether. It's just not going to reach the heights we saw with that opening. Number 2 was Masters of the Universe, opening with $29 million this weekend domestically and $54 million worldwide. This is the 6th biggest opening of the summer. It topped Obsession, The Sheep Detectives, The Breadwinner, and Billie Eilish Hit Me Hard and Soft, but it still sits behind Mortal Kombat 2, a certain other movie we will get to shortly, The Devil Wears Prada 2, Backrooms, and Mandalorian and Grogu. Whew, boy, what a rough start for this. I wanted to hold out hope for this, folks, because despite my low expectations, I don't want to see a movie fail to this degree, and especially one that the studio seemed to be really passionate about. They were hoping this would start a new franchise they could build off multiple sequels and spin-offs for, and apparently movie's not too bad either. I was hoping maybe this could be like a Predator Badlands or a Dungeons and Dragons, where it doesn't deliver huge numbers, but certainly better than what people expected. That did not happen. This movie really crashed and burned this weekend. There are multiple reasons people are saying as to why it really didn't deliver this weekend, but I think there's two big ones. It was way too late, and it was way too expensive. I think had this come out 15, maybe even 10 years ago, the hype would be a lot stronger. I think He-Man as a character had more cultural relevancy back then. Nowadays, I just don't think he has that relevancy you see with other iconic characters like Sonic, the Ninja Turtles, or Transformers. As while the He-Man fans were excited to go check this out this weekend, general audiences and everyone else just didn't seem to be too interested in this. I saw barely any hype for this. I saw a lot of comparisons with the recent Thor movies, and I think the marketing didn't sell this movie too well. Just like a typical summer blockbuster. And also the other reason being that this was way too expensive. This cost around $170 to $200 million. Why does a He-Man movie cost more than the most recent Star Wars movie? That is just insane. They were way in over their heads with this movie, unfortunately, and I just don't see this movie getting to where it needs to. Again, that's just way too high of a benchmark for it to get there, because it doesn't seem like people are really too jazzed about this movie. Critics liked it all right. It's like in the high 60s last I checked on Rotten Tomatoes, but audiences also don't seem to be too thrilled about this. This got a B on CinemaScore. Compared to some other blockbusters this summer, it's only on par with Mortal Kombat 2, and well, we all know how well that movie did, so I can't imagine this movie having strong legs. The interest is low, the reception doesn't seem to be there. This is unfortunately gonna look like it's gonna be the first big flop of the summer, and it's you hate to see it. You hate to see it, especially when, again, it was clear that they wanted this to be the next big thing, their big franchise again, but that's just not gonna happen. It's gonna get buried by a lot of the other big movies this summer. So yeah, just not a great start for Masters of the Universe. And finally, let's end the video off with the number 1 movie of the weekend, which was Scary Movie 6. Opening with $54 million this weekend domestically and $105 million worldwide. This is the aforementioned fourth biggest opening of the summer. It topped Mortal Kombat 2, but still sits behind Devil Wears Prada 2, Backrooms, and Mandalorian and Grogu. It's the biggest opening in the Scary Movie franchise, topping Scary Movie 3, the first Scary Movie, Scary Movie 4, Scary Movie 2, and Scary Movie 5. And it's the 8th biggest opening of the year overall, topping Hoppers and Mortal Kombat 2, but still sits behind Scream 7, Devil Wears Prada 2, Project Hail Mary, Backrooms, Mando and Grogu, Michael, and the Super Mario Galaxy movie. So yeah, this did about what I expected with this movie to do. It really brought people to the theater. Again, those first two hold a special place near and dear to a lot of people's hearts. The hype was there, a lot of buzz with how the Wayans returned, a lot of the original cast returned for one more scary movie, and obviously what movies they would spoof and make fun of in this movie. Again, just the hype was there, and the marketing was really excellent. All the posters and the billboards and promos they did really captured a lot of people's attention. And yeah, the movie just really delivered this weekend, especially internationally. It actually performed pretty identical to how it did domestically, which was surprising. And because of that, it has already tripled its $30 million budget worldwide, already $100 million worldwide. An excellent start for this movie. So everything about its opening weekend was great. I'm not too sure about where it's headed, though, as, in case you haven't heard, a lot of people don't like this movie. Critics hated it. It's sitting like at a 25% last I checked on Rotten Tomatoes, so yeah, critics aren't happy with this movie, but audiences also don't seem to be satisfied with this. It got a C+ on CinemaScore, which is bad for any movie, but especially this franchise. The only one it's on par with is Scary Movie 4. It's under the first three, which the first one got a B-, the other two got a B, and it's above Scary Movie 5, C-. But yeah, what was supposed to be the revival of not just the Scary Movie franchise, but the R-rated comedy in general, I'm not sure if this movie's going to be able to do, because the reception I've seen has just been terrible. Just a lot of people do not like this movie, so I don't think this movie's going to have the best legs going forward, even with it standing out as a raunchy R-rated comedy. Just, I think a lot of more better, well-received movies are just going to bury this throughout the summer. So yeah, the future ahead doesn't look bright for this movie, but hey, at least it won the weekend, it made its budget back and tripled it in the same weekend, so at least it has that going for it. Successful weekend all around for this movie. And those were your top 5 domestic box office results for this weekend, but we're not quite done yet, as we've got another week ahead of us and new movies hitting theaters. And this weekend's big new wide release is Disclosure Day, the latest from Steven Spielberg. It is about the revelation of extraterrestrial life and how we as a species deal with that, how we interact with that, and how we reveal that to the public. This has always been like the big wild card of the summer for me. I can see this absolutely taking off and being one of the summer surprises, but I could also see this one being ignored by general moviegoers. Where I see it thriving is because, well, Steven Spielberg, it's his first big blockbuster in a while, and its first big alien film since Close Encounters, and I think aiming for that type of vibe, that type of tone, it definitely benefits the movie. It's one of the few films this summer geared towards a mature audience. Not that it's like R-rated or anything, but definitely more serious in tone, themes, and subject matter. And I think the subject matter is actually pretty relevant. You know, we've been revealing stuff about UFOs a lot lately, and I think if the movie really does nail the commentary and messaging, I think it's going to discuss. I think it could spark a bigger debate and discussion surrounding the fact. So I think this could really like be something really culturally impactful if it does deliver on what it promises. Where I see it falling is just the marketing and buzz surrounding it. I think the marketing peaked too early with those cryptic billboards, the first trailer, and that Super Bowl ad, as everything else hasn't been that impressive. I've seen promos and stuff here and there, but it hasn't been a really big marketing push like I've seen for some other movies, so I think they just haven't been selling the movie all that well, and the buzz just doesn't seem to be there. I see some people talking about it, but for a movie like this, I expected like the buzz to really like be there, like this movie being like the talk of the town, but I'm not seeing too many people like talk about it or saying how excited they are like I saw for some other movies. Maybe I'm living in my own bubble, but I'm just not seeing the buzz amongst casual viewers. So yeah, again, I think this could go either way. Hopefully it's another summer surprise, but it also wouldn't surprise me if this doesn't deliver. But we'll see how well this movie truly does, as well as the rest of the movies that land in the top 5 on the next Box Office Chat. And that's going to do it for this week's episode of Box Office Chat. What did you all think of the results? Were you satisfied, unsatisfied? Comment down below and let me know. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you like this channel, hit the subscribe button. Follow me on all those social media links right there. And until next time, everyone, stay sharp.